So just because I got a new bike over there doesn't mean that I'm not going to take care of this good old trusty bike. What we have is a brand new battery. I got it from AutoZone. Nope, Advanced Auto. It's Autocraft Gold. Should be good. Other thing we're gonna do is replace the spark plugs. You can see this is the old one. Let's get it off. And this is the new one. It's a little rusty and a little dark, so but it looks healthy, so like it's not that bad when it comes to a plug. So we're going to check the gap on this new one and then install it. So one trick, if you ever doing a spark plug and you can't get it off, even though you have a spark plug special socket with a rubber in it, because these are really small, put a masking tape in it. I've seen this work plenty of time. This is not just for this particular motorcycle, but you can use it for anything. So we're doing the spark plug, we did the battery, we drained the oil, and the next thing is do the coolant. I don't know what the status on the coolant, but it's a good idea to replace it. So the way to do it is there's a coolant expansion tank here. You can see we're going to drain that and then also the coolant itself. So it's like a two different system. This is really bad using two. This is from old owner. So we will remove one of these and see if it's leaking or not. If it is, we might have to replace this hose. That might be the issue. So I will show you guys where to drain the coolant. So this is a coolant drain plug right here. It's very easy to access. You can just like open it and drain all the coolant. You could do drain it side to side if you really want to get rid of it, but right now we just want to drain it and fill it up. We don't have to get everything out. It is I think it's like half a gallon or something like that, maybe less than that. I don't know. It's not a big system. There's no miles of lines or anything like that, and it's a small radiator, so should be pretty easy to do. And if you're replacing with like green, oh, there it is, another one of these. This is really dumb. Like, why would you do that? Hopefully the hose is not leaking, because this is really not doing anything. But anyway, yeah, use same kind of, coolant. Don't mix coolant types. I think there's green one and there's blue one. You don't want to mix those two because they're different. You can mix them small amount, very small amount. It's not going to make any difference, but you don't want to do that. If you can avoid it, you should go ahead and run the motorcycle with the drain it, put distilled water in it, run it, drain it again, and then just like make sure there's nothing left in it, distilled water or anything like that, and fill it up with whatever you're changing to. So we're not changing anything, so we don't really have to do that, but it's a good idea to do it if you're up for the challenge. So let's go ahead and put some oil in it, and I'll show you guys the drain, and then we'll be done. I mean, the radiator up, we removed the hose clamps. They were a double, so I wanted to use this one. I think that's the OEM one. I think this is just from Harbor Freight. I mean, not Harbor Freight, but like store or something like that, Home Depot or whatever. So I replaced it, just use one, filled up the reservoir. That was empty actually. So a lot of people say that there's some kind of buildup on the bottom of it and creates like a clogged up hose. So just make sure to move it, take it out or something like that. And I had that, so I removed it, cleaned up the hose, and I filled it up. And you can see it was at max, and now it's at between full and low, so that's good. And coming here, we let it run, reach to close to 200. I think it was like 190 or something like that. Make sure you clean everything. It's like when you're I undid this hose right here and removed the aftermarket clip to push. So you gotta undo this one, and then there's another one right here. You gotta undo this, and then you can push this towards the front of the bike to get be able to get to the plug right there. So we replaced that, and that plug looked pretty bad as well. So, and we replaced the oil. That looks good, and that's it. We're gonna put everything back together. This bike is also I cleaned the chain. That's good. I think it's within spec. I measured it. I will probably write it and then measure it again. So let's start up and let you guys hear it. Hopefully it starts, you know. So Suzuki, you have to hold the clutch. Yamaha, you don't, but there you go. It's at 150, close to 150 degrees. So this is, well, we're gonna put the seat on and then the belly pan, and this is done. So we have finalized everything we need to do, and it's tucked away now, just waiting to be written for this weekend. So just going over what we have done. I have changed the coolant, battery, oil, and spark plugs, lubed up the chain, make sure that is all within spec, which is 0.08 inches, no, sorry, 0.8 inches to 1.2 inches of slack, and it's at 1 inch, so we're all good. We already have good tires on this bike, so this bike is ready for the road trip coming up, and I'm very excited to ride this because this is gonna be my first time really riding this bike on a trip this year. I have been taking the R1 for most of my trips, just trying to, you know, get used to the bike and all that stuff. But it's a 3-day trip, and I have done it before on this bike. I was very comfortable, and I'm gonna pick this bike over the R1, even though I have done close to 400 miles on the R1 in one day. It was okay, but I think I'm gonna be more comfortable with this, like doing it 3 days straight, 400 miles. So anyway, what you need since I'm gonna take this to the trip, I want to talk about a couple of things that you guys really need when you're on a motorcycle doing a long run. A lot of people don't get it, they miss it, you know. Number one is a phone holder, because your phone is your life when you're on the road. That tells you where to go, tells you how fast you're going. If your speedo is not correct, this doesn't have a speedo healer, so it's not reading correctly. So I have to guess, do math, and figure out my speed and all that stuff, because you don't want to be going too slow for the traffic. You don't want to be going too fast. You just want to go right at the, you know, traffic flow. So, and be careful about, you know, speeding and all that stuff. And you want to charge your phone. So another thing is that you need a phone charger, a really good one. And I love this because it has a little cap at the end to protect it from the weather, so there is no water going in and just sitting there, you know, corroding stuff. So it's not 100% water sealed or waterproof. It's good enough for, like, when it's raining or stuff like that, it will not go in. You can't submerge it until and not expect. Anyway, those are two things. And another thing is, this is a very touchy subject. A cruise control. A lot of people will say, oh, don't use the ones that are like, it goes over here, and like the clip-on ones that are like less than $10. People say they slip and all that stuff. They have a couple of horror stories about not being able to get the throttle off and all that stuff. I have used it on R1 multiple times, and I was okay with it, so I'm going to try it on this trip as well. They're like less than $10, and you just screw it over here. It just clamps on it and then holds on to your brake lever right here and holds the throttle in the position you set it to. And if you feel like you're in danger, you need to shut off the throttle, you can just like roll off, push it off, or you can just grab your clutch. You know, you always have your clutch. That will cut the power to your rear wheel, so you'll be fine on that. So yeah, another thing, we were talking about the hose clamps. I did just use one and all the hoses are good, so I don't know why the previous owner or whoever did those hoses, I don't know why they use double. It just doesn't make sense. It's not a smart thing to do. But anyway, it's ready to go on the road trip. Very excited, and I will take you guys with me. It's gonna be interesting. The weather doesn't look that great, but we're gonna push on and do what we love. We're gonna ride on the country and explore the Wisconsin and Michigan, northern Wisconsin. So yeah, thanks for watching. If you guys have any questions about the SV650 or the Virago, that's another video coming up. I have done quite a bit of stuff to that, or any of the project cars. They're just sitting here in my garage. They're waiting to be serviced. This is gonna be the next one. I have marked up a couple of spots on the paint that I'm gonna try to fix. The paint is really tired on this, but anyway, we're not gonna go into that. If you haven't subscribed to our channel, please do so. It helps us realize people out there are watching our stuff and liking our videos and commenting and all that stuff. And you guys can always reach us on Facebook, Instagram, or comment section of YouTube. We're pretty good at responding to everyone as soon as possible. So yeah, thanks for watching again. Kudos to all.